Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today at Conf42. My name is Indraneel and I'm honored to present on the topic of transforming public sector observability using artificial intelligence and business intelligence. With over 12 years of experience as a several business objects, business warehouse and Power BI specialist, and experience on working on Microsoft Power BI stack, I've led digital transformation initiatives for major enterprises, including Nestle USA, Siemens, and Arthrex. Currently, I serve as a principal developer and analyst at i3 Global Tech, where I focus on bridging the gap between the technical data solutions and real world public sector needs. Today's session is designed to equip you with the understanding and tools needed to evolve the public sector observability. We'll explore how to use AI, BI, and modern data platforms to convert the fragmented system telemetry into actionable intelligence that improves service delivery and public trust. Observability challenge. When we come up to the observability challenge, let's begin by acknowledging the core challenges faced by public sector agencies. First, complexity overload. Data is being generated across the multiple disconnected systems, including mainframes, modern cloud platforms, and customer databases. This fragmented environment makes it incredibly difficult to gain a full picture of operations. Second, visibility gaps. Key insights are often buried within individual systems, and these silos prevent leaders from understanding the end to end flow of services and outcomes. For example, the performance issues in a backend tax processing system might go undetected until constituents begin experiencing delays. And the third one would be the reactive operations. Too often, most of the enterprises only become aware of issues after a disruption has occurred. And this not only reduces the service quality, but also erodes the customer's trust and the agency's ability to fulfill its mission effectively. Modern observability framework. To address these challenges, we introduce a modern observability framework which is built in four pillars. First one would be the business intelligence, where we use the business BI tools like Power BI to transform the disparate raw data into interactive dashboards and scorecards. And this enables decision makers to proactively monitor and manage services. The second one would be the AI-powered artificial intelligence, which plays a critical role in predicting the system behaviors, identifying the hidden patterns, or finding out the anomalies and recommending the preventative actions. Machine learning models detect issues before they escalate. Third one would be the data integration, where true observability requires merging data from all systems, regardless of vendor, location, or format, into a single view. This unified approach allows for seamless data analysis across agencies. And the fourth one would be the core monitoring, where we have the comprehensive collection of metrics, which are pretty continuous and continuous logs, traces, and events. Without a robust telemetry foundation, it is impossible to gain real visibility into the health and the performance of the services. These frameworks allows the public sector teams to shift from reactive to the predictive operations. Technical foundation. So when we explore this framework, which is technically implemented at the data collection, where we establish the pipelines to acquire the telemetry data from legacy on-prem systems to cloud services, third-party APIs, and IoT devices. This requires the connectors, agents, or integration services that normalize the data, and a centralized analytics engine, often built using Spark, Databricks, similar platforms processing incoming telemetry. It correlates the logs with performance metrics and generates insights in real time. The next one would be the storage. For compliance purposes, we store data in secure cloud-based data lakes or warehouses. Solutions like Azure Data Lake or Snowflake are ideal because they offer the encryption for data and which has also have the role-based access and massive scalability. Next one would be the visualization, where dashboards are tailored to specific agency roles, which includes These agency roles, when we talk about the agency roles, it's like the role-based access related dashboards where it involves executive level, operational level, and technical level. Power BI and Tableau and SAP Business Objects serve these needs by offering the customizable real-time visual layers that align with KPIs. This layered architecture ensures that the data is being trusted, timely, and actionable insights for the enterprises. Transformation success stories. Here are the three real-world examples based on my experience, which I would highlight the effectiveness of this framework. First one would be the legacy migration, where we revolutionized the Nestle USA's outdated monitoring infrastructure with the seamless integration of modern observability tools. And also the Nestle used to have the aging monitoring system that couldn't scale or provide the cross-functional visibility. We introduced the modern observability tools integrated with their existing landscape. This resulted in a 40% faster incident response time and significantly improved the IT and the business team collaboration. Next one would be team where we created the cross-platform observability ecosystem that merged 12 plus data streams into a unified view. And this gave Siemens, the operational leaders, the ability to see end-to-end service health, reducing the system downtime by 35%. Next one would be with Arthrex, where the company needed a way to identify the performance degradation before it affected operations, where we implemented an AI-driven anomaly detection system that flagged early signs of failure. Then this way, a solution prevented almost 28 major incidents in a year and saved up to $1.5 million in potential downtime costs and to avoid the disruptions. These stories show how the observability goes beyond the monitoring and it empowers the predictive operations. Implementation roadmap, where we're implementing observability in public sector organizations, requires a systematic, phased approach. And the first one would be the assessment, where we evaluate the current monitoring capabilities, where we begin conducting the detailed inventory of your existing monitoring tools, data sources, and workflows, evaluate gaps, redundancies, and compliance risks. The stage should also, involve the cross-functional teams to understand their burning issues or the bottlenecks that they're going to face when they're trying to implement these data points. Architecture would be the second step, where we design the observability architecture based on the assessment, define which telemetry signals need to be collected, the ETL workflows is needed, and AI/ML models to be deployed, storage schemas and visual interfaces. Prioritizing this modular and scalable design. And the third one would be the implementation, where we roll out in phases. Start with a proof of concept in a high priority service, and such as backend and emergency response systems, and configuring the alerting rules, AI triggers and dashboards, where we use the agile sprints to iterate quickly. And the adoption would be the fourth one, where the technology alone doesn't guarantee success, where we train staff on the observability tools, establish documentation, and onboard executive champions, create feedback loops and continuous measure usage, system performance, and user satisfaction. So by this roadmap, the agencies can avoid, and our enterprises can avoid, most of the companies can avoid the analysis paralysis and achieve the measurable progress in 3 to 6 months, or the desired time period which during the product planning phase. The next one would be the technology stack, where this gives you the effective observability on well-integrated technology stack, which has a bunch of tools describes its own importance on performing the front end and back end calculations, and also performing the machine learning stuff. Power BI, which is a leading visualization platform, where it provides the customizable dashboards that pull in real-time data through APIs, direct query, and import models. Power BI also supports the row-level security, which is also ideal for the sensitive public sector data and also in private organizations. SAP Business Objects, which remains critical for agencies that require governed enterprise reporting, compliance-based scheduling, and complex report logic, where most of the semantic model is being performed in SAP business objects, and SAP business objects has disparate values and connecting to disparate data sources, which integrates with the SAP ECC, which is a backend, business warehouse, and other ERP systems. Azure and Snowflake, which serves as an infrastructure and the data warehouse layers. Azure supports identity management, data pipelines, and AI services. Snowflake provides a fast, scalable storage and built-in support for semi-structured and unstructured data. So Databricks, which powers advanced machine learning, it supports time series forecasting, anomaly detection, and NLP on logs or customer feedback. So this Databricks notebooks also allow for the flexible experimentation by data scientists. And this stack is chosen not for the technical strength, but also for the compliance, scalability, and long-term cost effectiveness. ROI metrics, when agencies invest in observability and measurable outcomes, what can they expect is what this showcases. Our observability solutions majorly deliver the measurable returns across key performance indicators with significant improvements in operational efficiency and service quality. The faster incident resolution would be the highest KPI, which would, instead of spending hours diagnosing root causes, teams can isolate issues in minutes using correlation dashboards and AI alerts. We have seen resolution times drop by up to 50%. So improved uptime would be the second KPI with the predictive alerts and proactive maintenance. Uptime SLAs improve dramatically. This means the fewer customer complaints and higher service continuity and better audit readiness. Increased staff productivity would be the third one, where analysts and engineers spend less time manually stitching together data with centralized dashboards, and they majorly focus on the improvements rather than firefighting. Reduced operational costs, which reduces the manual interventions, contact escalations, and downtime related penalties. In several projects, the total operational costs dropped by 20% within a year. So higher customer satisfaction, where most of the customers don't notice when things go right, but they do when systems fail. Improving the uptime and responsiveness enhances public trust and stakeholder confidence. Typically, the investment in observability pays for itself within 9 to 12 months. Next one would be the common implementation challenges, where security complaints, where the public listed companies must comply with the stringent data regulations. It's essential to choose tools that are FedRAMP and FISMA compliant and implement strict access controls across your observability stack. And second would be the data integration complexity, where legacy systems often lack APIs or standardized formats. Teams need to build custom ETL pipelines, use middleware, and sometimes reverse engineer logs. Data integration is the hardest part, but also the most rewarding. The next one would be the cultural resistance, or where observability shifts the most. Cultural resistance or organizational adoption, where most of the observability shifts the way people work. It requires transparency, accountability, and data literacy. Some teams may resist change, fearing loss of control and increased scrutiny. That's why the executive sponsorship and cross training is more significant and vital. Next one would be the budget constraints, where most of the companies often operate within tight budgets and long procurement cycles. Start with the high ROI pilot and measure value early and secure the incremental funding to scale further. Anticipating these challenges allows for the smoother implementation and higher adoption rates. Next steps would be to find out the observability of your organization. To bring the observability to your organization, here are the practical steps, where observability assessment, which evaluates your current monitoring capabilities and identify the key gaps, where it is needed to run a 2 to 4 week internal review to evaluate what's being monitored and what's missing and who owns which data streams, and map out the telemetry architecture. And next one would be the pilot implementation, where we select the pilot use case, where we choose a high visibility service such as a customer portal performance, if there is any distribution monitoring or emergency services response team or something. like that, and demonstrate the tangible results within 30 to 60 days. And also building the strategic roadmap where we develop the phased approach to full observability implementation, where we define short, mid, and long-term goals, which includes tool standardization, AI model expansion, and training models, and ensure the alignment with the agency's digital strategy. Investment in training and literacy would be the another observability which also comes under the capability building. And this observability it's for the analysts, leadership, and operations team. And offering the workshops, creating the documentation, and fostering for the culture of the data-driven decision making would be the best one under this category. And also, it also, if the internal bandwidth is limited, then it's considered to be engaging the experienced partner to accelerate the design, deployment, and change management. So transformation doesn't have to be big bang, but start with one use case and then deliver the success and scale it interactively. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I hope you have a clear vision of how AI and business intelligence can elevate observability across public sector organizations. Whether you're just a beginning or scaling big efforts, the opportunity is vast and the impact is real. I welcome your questions and thanks for connecting. And let's work together to transform into the visibility into mission success. Thank you.